So, my narrative speech is on my trip to Japan that I took in middle school and the process that it took me to be able to go on that trip. So, you know how if you want to do something, you get this little voice inside your head and it just tells you that you can't or you shouldn't go after what you want? Well, I hate when that happens. And always after I don't do something that I wish I would have done, it just haunts me and I really wish I would have done it, and I always wonder what would happen and how my life would be different if I had done it. So, you just have to believe in yourself and believe in your instincts and know that the worst that can happen if you try for something is that you don't get it or someone else gets it. Hopefully, there's nothing life threatening about what you're trying to do or what you really want to do. So I think that people should just take the leap and think, what's the worst that could happen if I try for this? And so when when I was growing up, I really loved the idea of traveling, and I was on softball teams that traveled to different states to compete, and we would always travel to like Idaho or Oregon, never that far away from Washington. So I always wanted to do cross country travel, not necessarily for softball or anything, but it just really intrigued me, the idea of learning about a separate culture and comparing it to ours and seeing how other people live. So I wanted to do it and not in a softball setting where I could just be free to go roam around and see what their culture is like. And in middle school, there was this really cool opportunity that came about, and I had to decide if I wanted to make this decision to put myself out there and go for it. So, when I was sitting in my science classroom in middle school, there was this announcement that came over the intercom, and it said that the high schoolers were taking a trip to Japan, and there was room for one of the middle school students to go. So I was really excited, and I wanted to go, and I was talking to my friends about it, and they were asking me just like, why don't you just try for it, apply for it? And there was this big process that you had to go through. You had to write a essay on why you should go and fill out an application, and then you had to, if you got accepted on those terms, then you had to go through an interviewing process. So it was a lot to think about, and I had to talk to my parents about it, because it did cost money as well, but I just really wanted to go and learn about a different culture, and they knew that I liked the idea of traveling, so we talked about it, and I applied for it, and I did all the necessary work, and I actually took time to write that essay, and it was a fairly long essay, I think like 4 or 5 pages, and for a middle schooler, that's like a lot, so I think that helped me become a better person anyways, just knowing that you can be trying for this thing that you really want and not getting it in the end. But so I did that, and then it came time for the interview, because I'd made it past the first steps, and it came time for the interview, and I was super nervous, and I had to get this fancy outfit for it because I'm a middle schooler. I don't have fancy clothes, and so I was just like, I couldn't sleep the night before because I was so nervous that I would say something stupid to make me not go. And they told us only one student could go from the middle school. And there was like 7 of us trying to get this one spot. So we were competing against each other, basically. And so we were all trying to be on our best behavior and do whatever we had to get to go. And so I did my interview, and then they sat all of us down in this room where they were going to tell us who the one person that could go was, and it ended up being that all of us could go. And so we were all really excited because it was me and a few of my friends that tried that were applying for this position, and so we were all really excited that we got to go as a group together. But if we hadn't have tried for that and didn't put ourselves out there, then we would have never gone to go. So I think that things are always scary, especially when they're new or you're putting yourself on the line, but it should be worth it. If it's something that you really want to do, you should just go for it and not worry about what could happen if it goes wrong or if it goes badly. You should think about the positives and think about what you can learn from the experience and what you would gain. So that's my story. I just think that, my experience of going through this whole interviewing procedure, and worrying about if I was going to be the one to go or not, or if I was going to be like shot down, I guess you could say. That helped me because it made me realize that if you just put yourself out there, the worst that could happen is that people say no to you. So I think that everyone should just go for what they want because it'll be worth it in the end. Thank you.